Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the European Institute of Romania, let me welcome you also to the EUReKA Project Final Conference. Today's conference intends to present the conclusions of the EUReKA project and its main achievements to mobile EU citizens and stakeholders. The project aimed at promoting and facilitating the mobility of citizens in the Union, using innovative initiatives and providing new tools for the mobile EU citizens that give clear and correct information to citizens, observing the principle of anti-discrimination. The responsibility for implementation lies with the stakeholders and not the member states. And this reflects the ownership of solutions and means of implementation in line with the principle of subsidiarity. The focus is on informing citizens and by doing so on their empowerment. The project focuses on information as a means of reducing transaction costs and increasing the efficiency of society. Allow me to wish success for the works of this conference and to express my hope that the results of our project will enjoy a well-deserved recognition among the mobile EU citizens.
Dear friends, dear partners and colleagues, I'm also very glad to welcome everyone at this final conference, the EUReKA project. After the Second World War, we dreamt a united continent based on common values and mutual solidarity, different peoples, histories and traditions, based on exchange, dialogue and cooperation in order to promote a more global and open-minded generation of Europeans. And this is our original identity, the roots to understand who we are or who we should be. So the EUReKA project, as its name suggests, has had the aim to find out again this forgotten identity, European citizens, just by providing means and ways to put in practice and on the basis of the belief that only by recovering a very effective hospitality and acceptance among European citizens, we would be able to do the same with the third country nation, building new societies, new policies for both peoples.
I'm very happy to address you in my capacity as the Executive Director of the European Labour Authority, ELA as we call it, a very new EU agency tasked with the promotion of and enforcement of fair and effective EU labour mobility. I am aware that today's conference marks a final chapter of work completed by 11 organizations from 6 EU member states, and all that for a fairer mobility in our Union. It is indeed an objective at the core of my agency's mandate and also close to my heart, and therefore I congratulate you on your achievements, such as your handbook on best practices. We are concerned with how we can implement, enforce, and facilitate the compliance with the existing rules and make better use of the tools that we have at our disposal. Our job is to ensure fair labor mobility as the benefit of our single market. This is possible only when workers and employers are aware of their rights and obligations and know which services to reach out when needed. So visibly, we are touching here on the importance of having an easy access to reliable and updated information for a wide array of mobility stakeholders. And if we want workers and employers to make use of their rights and be aware of their obligations, so we need to ensure clear and coordinated communication. To this end, last year we established a working group on information as a strategic forum for exchange between member states and social partners on the subject of information provision to individuals and employers. This forum is crucial for developing and implementing the specific information strategy encompassing all forms of labor mobility. But let me also give you a concrete example of our approach to communication about mobility by recalling one of our main achievements of this year, our action plan on the rights of seasonal mobile workers. The action plan had three core objectives: to stimulate and support the initiatives of member states and social partners in addressing the key challenges in relation to cross-border seasonal work, to facilitate operational cooperation and coordination at EU level between national administrations and with the social partners for the benefit of seasonal workers, and to maximize the impact of activities by carrying out actions at the same time. So step by step, we build our capacities and refine our tools with the aim of having an ever stronger impact, both in information, but also in enforcement and cooperation activities. In ELA, we believe that workers need various authorities to talk to one another and create seamless processes to solve citizens' problems in an efficient and adequate manner. So for this, I remain appreciative and thankful and wish you many successes in your future endeavors, and we count also on partners like you.
The Romanian government, through the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, continues to treat with priority the protection of Romanian workers abroad and is proactively involved in taking the necessary step in this area, both nationally and in cooperation with our partners from the EU. Having in mind the problems faced last year by the Romanian mobile workers, including seasonal workers, in the context of COVID-19 pandemic, we made sure that we had put in place all the necessary measures of preparedness in order to safeguard the rights of seasonal workers abroad. I wish to conclude by reiterating that the efficient and correct management of seasonal workers' mobility is in everyone's interest.
The concrete results of the project, as we have seen before, are important tools in our view, which provide strong assistance to the European citizens, including to Romanian workers. As we have seen, the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the particular risks for mobile workers in the case of crisis, but at the same time, mobile workers have proven to be an essential tool for fighting the effects of the pandemic and for ensuring the sustainability of the internal market and of the European economies. They prove to concretely supporting a genuinely resilient European economy, and therefore we think that it is critical that the essential role and character of the mobile workers for the EU economy is fully acknowledged, something that the project does, and for this we are really grateful. Once again, in the end, let me express our sincere appreciation to the EUReKA stakeholders and express our hope that such projects dedicated to the work mobility and related issue will continue also in the future. Thank you very much.
In everyday experience, free movement is not always a straightforward path because of many different obstacles, often just unexpected. These obstacles can prevent EU citizens in intra-EU mobility from accessing their rights and make life every day, the everyday life difficult for them. So there are many different cases. These obstacles can be the refusal of entry for a dependent third-country national family member, or the rejection of an application for municipality registration, the lack of access to welfare benefits, double taxations, or different forms of discrimination at work, at school, in access to social services. Suggested solutions include providing online information on practical matters, developing electronic services, and providing information and assistance tailored to individual needs through, for example, a one-stop shop web portal provided by the public authorities. Finally, a set of IT recommendations was drafted on the basis of the stakeholders' focus group interviews. According to the stakeholders, in fact, information could be made visible. Universal and user-friendly access should be provided. Useful, reliable, and up-to-date information should be selected pragmatically, and the quality should be assessed of the information, and if possible, it should be made also accessible in the languages of the newcomers. So the objective objectives of the EUReKA project are finally revealed, so that the main one is contributing to facilitate the exercise of free movement rights and mobile citizens' inclusion and participation in the host member states through a joint local, national, transnational circulation of expertise and an advanced level of access and, in the same time, usability of digital information. Based on these objectives, a multi-target strategy was followed by the consortium, and avoiding to focusing all the resources only to the EU mobile citizens, but trying to have a multi-targeted approach to all the different kinds of stakeholders. Finally, based on these objectives, it was possible to develop and create the app and the EUReKA portal. And this meant for us the transition from exploration phase to the problem solving. The information and services provided range from the access to the municipality residency to the labor market and business incentives, from social housing to educational programs, from the national health system enrollment to social security provisions, pensions. So all contents were then made available for 6 member states and in 4 community languages, the one of the country in question, and English, and the 2 languages of the most widely spoken communities on the ground. You can see the QR code, thanks to which it's possible to download the app. And finally, the consortium produced a handbook on IT good practices. And this was possible thanks to a joint collaboration between EDOS and the European Institute for Romania. The handbook was prepared to assist in developing more appropriate approaches for the benefit of national and local officials, of all the stakeholders and practitioners involved in intra-EU mobility governance and services provisions. Thanks to the EUReKA deliverables, the portal, the app, the handbook, we try to reach the following achievements: making the new technologies work for people and not for markets. Then building a digital environment where citizens are empowered, enhancing the awareness of the target groups on EU citizenship rights, increasing expertise of national, regional, local experts. In the light of all this, we like to think that the EUReKA project represents the invention that was missing, the invention useful to support the daily life, dreams and prospects of our EU mobile citizens.
And therefore we will go directly to my presentation. If I said integration, I have to remind you that integration is about opportunities, having information, being attracted to remain there, about non-discrimination, and mostly about the social system that Europeans are proud of, and they try to propose it as a European model. And again, we should discuss a little bit more specific for the case of Romania. Actually, the only European regions that are richer than Bucharest are here in Western Europe, in continental Europe, in Germany, Netherlands, Luxembourg, of course, but Luxembourg, as you know, it's different. Nothing in eastern parts of Europe are comparable to Bucharest, and of course, some might say that okay, it's only about GDP per capita. After the distribution, things became different. In fact, after the distribution, because of the taxation rates and low taxes in Romania, Bucharest became richer in terms of available income per capita as compared to Paris, and again, nothing else is comparable. So this explains somehow why most of the EU migrants are concentrated in Bucharest. And when you talk about them, you should talk mainly about this area, with the observation that they start to be in other parts of the country as well. If I go back to the findings for Romania, here we notice that both from the survey and from the other tools, we observe that there is not so much information that is addressed to EU migrants. Then the stakeholders had very low knowledge on where to find information and also about the existing regulations and what is actually useful for the migrants. For instance, public knew basically what was in their domain, but nothing about which was not in their domain, and they were not able to direct actually the migrants to a place where to find information. And also we found a very low interest towards the proposed teams, meaning that we need to have a kind of communication strategy and to have tools that are addressing the needs of this kind of population. Also, if you look to the best 4 sites, the title of the graph remains in Romanian language. So if you look to the graph, you notice that in fact among the sites that were screening, after we ranked them, the top 4, 2 of them came from the EU, actually from the Commission. One of them was produced by the Romanian authorities, and the other one was produced by a private company, meaning that you really need a lot of local development here, and you actually, as a public authority, you should consider about having a consistent immigration policy, which actually completely lacks in Romania, despite a great need for labor force and an increasing number of migrants and of quota of non-EU migrants coming here. We don't have any kind of consistent immigration policy, and no sign that we might have a really good one. A lot of information to put on this kind of websites that the EUReKA project actually uses and already have it in the website, and we need to have English as a communication language, not Romanian, and this is also something that we find out in other countries as well. So we have it in the EUReKA tool, and also specific for Romania, we need an awareness campaign that is directed to existing stakeholders to understand what they can and where can what they can show to the migrants, and where the migrants can be directed in order to find information.
This questionnaire was submitted, I don't know if I mentioned it before, to the stakeholders who participated in the second round of the 10 national networking and campaign events. To sum up, I say it again, we have a 52% of positive evaluation about the information available, 51% positive evaluation about the trust, the increase in the trust, and 48% in the area of possible fear of discrimination. We also collected, I must say, a good number of free comments. I selected a few of them just to show that they don't help to untie the knot of this picture, showing that we are in the middle of the journey. France, again, good idea, but some areas are incomplete. The map should include more places to refer to concerning the geolocalization, in a way to include all the Italian regions and avoid discrimination between South and North, mainland and I. The key words are these: improved content, meaning especially more complete and constantly updated. For this, the flexibility of the tools is needed. In terms also of information technology is applied. Promotion and advertising is what Antonio just mentioned, and the quality of the information provided, it has to be improved. That can make up for the differential inclusion, the power of administrative borders. I'm quoting directly from the handbook, and the legal and criminal exploitation of laborers, so clearly explained in the handbook, which I want to stress is, according to me, another outstanding output of the project. And I think that the handbook itself could be an excellent guide for the future life of these two main outputs.
Our experience on EUReKA from Portugal, really it was a tough task, also because it came in a very hard time for all of us, of course, not just for ANJAF, but working with mobility in the time that we are stuck and close at home. For the project, we have three good tools: the site, the handbook. We already disseminated a lot at embassies, universities, local administration, and so on.
I'm Julia, and I'm the coordinator of Tandem Plus Network, which is partner of the EUReKA projects and a European network which brings together your organization coming from 9 European countries. So I can give you just an overview of the feedback I received from various actors and stakeholders. The feedback has been very positive in terms that EUReKA, on how EUReKA has helped to somehow to clarify things, to put them within everyone's reach. I think that this is the EUReKA greatest merit, to clarify things, to make a big step in trying to put pieces together, and that we need to restart or at least follow up on these steps from our products, from our intentions, from our missions, to somehow face the storm on the mobility system.
So my name is Tanja Miloš. I am working in the city of Zagreb, and we enjoyed participating in this project because we discovered a lot of opportunities to improve, and also a lot of issues that need to be resolved. This project has opened our knowledge into complexity of laws and bureaucracy. And one of the feedback I got from the EU citizens that work here is they find it easier to do a startup, to start their own business, but it's much easier than getting a job.
I would like to conclude this session. I think the partners in their different ways have tried to link the project and the development of the instrument and the distribution of the instrument to their local situations. And I hope that this short session with the partners showed how rich and how diverse the management and the implementation of such a project is. Thank you very much to you all. And I give the floor back to Antonio.
We spent a morning together, feeding our brain, exchanging ideas, and I could say enriching each other's. Then, thanks to the European Institute of Romania for the active and enriching collaboration along all the duration of the project, but especially for organizing this final conference. A big thank you to all the partners for the continuous exchange with which we have developed the implementation of the project. It was really enriching for me, but for each other, I could say.
And I would like to tell you that, as Antonio said, our work doesn't stop here. We have still things to do for EUReKA, and I'm pleased to announce you that we have a brief message from Mr. Cosmin Boiangiu, the Executive Director of the European Labour Authority, who would like to know more a little bit about this project and to have a dialogue, provided that there is something new that may come up from this. So I thank you all for participation, particularly to Idos, the initiator of the project, to Luca and Antonio here with us, and hopefully we will meet again, at least in as good as circumstances as this one.